Hello and welcome back. I hope everyone's doing alright. I'm going to try and keep this one fairly swift. I know I say that pretty much every time at the moment, and they always seem to drag on forever because I keep waffling on. But I really am going to try and keep this one nice, quick and concise. If you're new to the channel, I basically just review all sorts of food. I usually review things on the budget end of things, so places like Iceland, farm foods, but also the main supermarkets as well, just to see if their sort of budget range food is any good. If that's the kind of thing that you like watching, please do consider subscribing. I try my best to get one of these videos out once a week, and I always try and give a very honest take on the food. And with that, today I'm going to be trying this. It's a roast beef dinner made by Bisto, the gravy people. Now, I'm not expecting this to be anywhere near as good as a home-cooked roast dinner, but I'm just very intrigued to see how this measures up. As if it's good, well, considering how much of a faff it is to actually cook a roast dinner, and how long it takes, to have one already prepared in a box that you just shove in the oven, or the microwave, weirdly enough, well, that's got to be worth considering. So it costs £2.70 from Sainsbury's, so not hugely expensive, certainly cheaper than if you were to go and buy all these ingredients separately. And it seems to have all the main components covered. The description says beef dinner with sliced beef, roast potatoes, peas, carrots and a Yorkshire pudding in a rich gravy. So it serves one, and like I said, you can microwave it for 11 minutes if you're in a rush, but I really don't want to think about what a microwaved Yorkshire pudding is going to taste like. So I'm definitely going to oven cook this. Despite it taking 45 minutes, I think it'll be well worth doing. And here's a list of the ingredients and also the nutritional information. Very sorry about the battered box. I did spend some time trying to find the least battered one in the supermarket freezer, but they were all pretty battered and bashed up. So this was the best one I could find, so I really hope you can read it. It might be worth pausing the video if you want to take a closer look at this. I just hope that it's fairly legible. Okay, let's get this thing open and see what we have inside. Well, first impressions, that has to be the saddest looking Yorkshire pudding I think I've ever seen. It's sad, so sad. It looks extremely flat. I don't think it's going to puff up during cooking. I hope it does, but I don't think it will because I think it's already cooked. So not a great start. There's also a carrot with a huge hole cut out of the middle, so yeah, not sure what that's all about. Looks like the beef is under the carrots and the peas, within the gravy, and the roast potatoes and that Yorkshire pudding is separated by that divide, presumably to keep it separate from the gravy so it doesn't go soggy during cooking. So yeah, can't sound blown away with the presentation, but I suppose with this sort of thing the most important thing is how it tastes. So I'm going to fire up the oven, pop this in, and I will check back with you once it's cooked. Alrighty, there we are, all cooked. I still can't get over how depressing that little Yorkshire pudding looks. Let's take the wrapper off this and see what we have. Well, to start with, just really has a very strong smell of that classic Bisto beef gravy, which I suppose is no surprise considering that it's doused in it, which is no bad thing whatsoever. The roast potatoes are pretty small, might be quite hard to get an idea of the size on camera, but if I pick one up, yeah, they're not big. They're little bite-sized roast potatoes by the looks of it. But I'm going to plate this up just to see what it looks like once all dished up. and if it can really compete in any way to a proper home-cooked roast dinner. Well, first impressions doesn't look too bad, to be honest. Looks like you get a decent-ish serving. Most of the plate is filled with that gravy and vegetables. When you look at the how many roast potatoes you get, and also considering how small they are, not a huge amount, but certainly enough for one. Like I said before, very strong smell of gravy, which is to be expected, I suppose. I think what I'll do first of all is try everything individually, and then try it all together and see what it's like. So I'll start with arguably one of the most important parts of a roast dinner, the roast potato. This guy looks good. Well, that's a real shame. There's me thinking that I'd oven cook this to get some nice crispy roast potatoes, but they taste, I mean, I don't know how they've done it. It tastes like it's been microwaved. I mean, they're not crispy whatsoever. They're soft and have no crispy outer at all. Tastes more like a chip. Okay, so not the best of starts, but let's try the peas and the carrots. I can't imagine this is going to be bad because it's all soaked in gravy, and anything soaked in gravy, let's be honest, is going to be good. Yeah, really nice. Exactly what you'd expect. Peas and carrots smothered in gravy is always going to be good. Right, the main event, let's try this beef. Not the thickest slices, but wouldn't really expect it to be particularly thick. Pretty dry, not a huge amount of flavour. It tastes very, very similar. If you've ever got sliced beef in the cold meat section that you normally put in sandwiches and things from a supermarket, it tastes exactly the same as that. So, not great, but certainly not bad, but definitely could have been better. Let's try a little bit of it. Oh, sorry, almost forgot. It's so small, almost forgot about it. Let's try this very sad, sorry looking Yorkshire pudding. Well, it feels crispy, which is good. It's not soft like the those pretend fake roast potatoes. Okay, it's obviously nowhere near as good as a homemade Yorkshire pudding, and also not as good as a normal shop-bought Yorkshire pudding. It's not light and airy, it's quite dense. Although it's definitely crispier than the roast potatoes, it's not nearly crispy enough. It's still on the softer side. Doesn't really taste of anything. Yeah, a bit of a letdown really. But let's try everything together and see if it's better if we get everything going on in one go. Let's see. Let's get a bit of beef. Cut up some of this. Pretend Yorkshire roast potato. Bit of Yorkshire pudding and carrot. All right. If I don't drop this, let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, definitely better altogether. Kind of masks the fact that the roast potatoes and the Yorkshire pudding are a bit lifeless. The only thing that's good, and to be fair, it really should be because it's made by the company that specialises in it, is the gravy. Everything else is just a little bit sad, to be honest. If you were to get this yourself, I'd definitely recommend microwaving it. Honestly, no point cooking it for 45 minutes in an oven. It doesn't crisp up anything and it still tastes like it's come out of a microwave. So yeah, 11 minutes in the microwave, just do that. I do appreciate that things like this are always a trade-off. Convenience versus the taste. I guess does the convenience outweigh the taste, i.e. would it really be worth cooking a full roast dinner where you're going to have to buy all the ingredients, it'll be quite a bit more expensive, all that washing up, all that hassle? Is it worth doing all that for a home-cooked roast dinner? Or, considering the convenience of this, is it worth getting this instead? In my mind at the moment, absolutely not. Even if I decided to microwave this, instead of oven cooking it, still no. Everyone in the UK knows that feeling after you've had a good, decent roast dinner. That satisfied feeling afterwards. You don't get any of that with this. It's just sheer disappointment. Save your money, spend it on something else. £2.70, you can get far better meals than this, 100%. Well, that's probably it for me on this one. I've tried to keep it nice and short and swift. Not yet sure if I've achieved that. I'll only find out after editing. But thanks very much again for watching. Hope this has been useful and helpful. If you know of any other roast dinner in a box that you cook at home and actually tastes good, can you let me know? Maybe one that actually has a decent Yorkshire pudding, and I don't know, maybe crispy roast potatoes. How about that? But I want to thank you all again very much for watching, really do appreciate it. Would love it if you could subscribe. I'm just starting out on this YouTube thing, and every subscriber really means a lot, and it really spurs me on to do the next one. So once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.